Hello, I'm Greg Petoniak. I am a longtime friend of Jack's, and he and I have shared career experiences together, and he's been a tremendous advisor and friend for me as we've moved along parallel paths in our career. Indeed, I succeeded Jack as the executive director of the Southeast Michigan Community Alliance Michigan Works, and Jack was extremely helpful to me in that role. And I want to give him his due for creating that organization. He was truly the founder of that. And to the family, I simply want to say to you, my thoughts and prayers are with you. Jack was a tremendous friend and a tremendous leader in our community, and he did so much. Thank you.
I'm honored that I could say a few words about my dear friend Jack O'Reilly. Jack O'Reilly came to the DCC in the mid-90s. He was our Director of Employment and Training, and I was Jack's assistant for about 10 years. Then Jack took the job at the Southeast Michigan Community Alliance as the Executive Director, and I was on Jack's board. We've been friends for over 40 years. I knew Jack when he worked for Congressman Dingell in Washington, D.C., and Jack was very astute on many different issues, whether it be workforce development, the environment, steel industry, manufacturing industry. Jack could tell you about my shoes, where they're from, and who was the president of the company. He was a wealth of information. His beautiful wife, Chris, and his 3 sons and grandkids, we're all going to miss Jack, because Jack was like family to all of us, and he loved the city of Dearborn. He was a Dearborn kid through and through. God bless you, Jack. We're going to miss you, and God bless your family.
I have great memories of Mayor O'Reilly. Part of it, I've been now an educator in Dearborn for 29 years, and I remember him as a principal coming to the schools to read to our students at Duval. He lived in the neighborhood of Duval across the street, and he was always active with the PTA. Became superintendent in 2015, and that's when I really got to know him. And I have a few fond memories. One was a trip to Washington, D.C. that I had with him, Imam Mardini, and Chief Ron Haddad, and it was about our community partnership between the schools, the police, the district, the faith-based community. And I remember how proud he was too, because he knew the inner workings of Washington, and literally the stories he told me on that trip were fantastic. The other thing I really appreciated is my children who are in college now. They were very young at the time, one in elementary school, one in middle, and he made them feel so welcome, and they had a lot of fun. And every time he was around, my kids were a priority to him. Get in a picture, make them feel welcome. The other thing I would just say is he was so dedicated to Dearborn schools and the students. He was always at our foundation meetings, our education foundation, raising money for children. And one of the roles that I learned the superintendent had and the mayor was the big fundraiser, the golf outing. And we would be there at the golf course getting pictures with everyone that's there donating money. So I literally would spend 7 hours with him and I, getting pictures, talking, sharing stories, and I learned a tremendous amount about him, what he's done for the community, and just how wonderful a family man he is. So I have the fondest memories of the mayor, and I do believe that, we used to always say that the partnership between Dearborn schools and the city was like no other place in the country, and as thanks to his leadership. And one of the things I would close in is he always appreciated the Dearborn schools vision sign, which I know the community knows, and he was always a eager participant to get in the pictures and even get in selfies with me, because he knew that the students appreciated that. So I have the greatest respect for Mayor O'Reilly, and my condolences to him and his family.
I am the Executive Director of YABA, Yemen American Benevolent Association. Today we gather to remember one of our great leaders. I know the late Mayor Jack O'Reilly for more than 40 years. I support him for every election. He not only served the city of Dearborn, he served the state, the federal, because he been everywhere. I salute him, and he will be missed. It's very difficult in this few seconds or minute to describe the great man and what he did for our community, our state, and our country. So I am glad to participate with them, and also we express our feeling with the plaque that we give to the family. Our condolences go to all his family, all the Dearborn residents. I hope you guys will be safe and continue working the step of the mayor. I also salute the mayor, the current mayor, Abdullah Hamoud, and the chief Isa Shaheen for the police, the chief also for the fire, and every single people working for our beautiful city. Have a good time.
I've had the honor to work alongside with Mayor O'Reilly with the Dearborn Goodfellows. He's always been a huge supporter with the city assets and always contributing to our organization to make it a success. During his term, he was always giving back to the Goodfellows, supporting the Goodfellows, and we are so grateful for the relationship that we had with Mayor O'Reilly. I've also had the honor and privilege to work with Mayor O'Reilly, when the city had issues with the pools. He sat down with the community, worked with us, talked with us, and he was just genuine and very honest. And I'm very honored to have known him and worked alongside him, worked with him in partnership with the city and the residents to ensure the best for the pools and for the kids of Dearborn.
Hi, I'm Dearborn City Council President Pro Tem Leslie Herrick, and Jack O'Reilly has been a role model for a generation or two of people that have grown up here in Dearborn and gone on to do many things with their lives. I've known the O'Reilly family to some degree my whole life. Jack's father, the first Mayor O'Reilly, was one of my dad's friends, and so I remember when he was inaugurated when I was just really little, and it was a beautiful ceremony, but it was the first time that I ever had seen our Performing Arts Center roller rink in anything other than a roller rink. It was all decorated for the senior O'Reilly's inauguration. Years later, spring forward to when I was raising my son here, some of his earliest memories involve Jack O'Reilly, who was on city council and then became our mayor. He was involved with so many things that make living and raising a family in Dearborn so special, from continuing the homecoming tradition that had been started by his father years before, to being involved in the arts, which are a passion of mine. So the first time I remember talking with Jack was actually he and his wife Chris were sitting on a couch at a fundraiser for the Dearborn Symphony at Christmas time, and we were all singing Christmas carols together, and I first chatted with them there. Spring forward many years, well, about 10 years, little did I know that I'd be standing next to Jack again singing Christmas carols, but this time this was at one of the tree lightings that is another tradition here in Dearborn before Christmas. And so I got to sing carols with him again, and that time I was on city council and he was mayor. But through the years, he would be at homecoming, my son and I would see him there. There was a really big storm one year, probably around 2009, and Mayor O'Reilly made the call and asked people, please go home, there's a big storm coming, exit organized, look out for each other, but please head home, there's a big storm coming. And my son was young and he was scared because he saw the clouds coming in, but then we saw the mayor walking up the hill on Monroe along with all the other people towards his home, and we were headed towards our home. And Brendan, my son, saw him again and said, oh, there's the mayor. I know it's going to be okay because we're all together and we're all going home together. Then spring forward a few more years, trick-or-treating, the mayor came to the door and handed out candy to the kids at his home, and my son was there on the front porch getting candy from him. And then a few more years later, my son was being awarded Eagle Scout, the top rank in Boy Scouting, and Mayor O'Reilly made a point of coming to his Eagle ceremony when he was invited to that. So he's been a constant in our lives on a personal level, raising my family here, and then of course as a role model and mentor to me in leadership here in the city. I he was the consummate public servant. He was there for all of our events, and he represented Dearborn well, actively involved at state and national levels with other mayors. He's been really highly respected by so many people at different levels. So just as a resident here, we can be proud and glad that we have what we have here today, the services that he was able to preserve through some really challenging time financially after the crash of the housing market here in Dearborn. He was able to provide those things, preserve those things that make living and raising a family here in Dearborn so special. So thank you to Mayor O'Reilly. We miss you, and my condolences to his family. I know they're proud, and rightfully so. Thank you.
I have fond memories of Jack O'Reilly, just a decent human being. I had a couple of great conversations with him. Of the things that I remember most is his great sense of history. He had a phenomenal memory, and he would tell stories about former Mayor Hubbard, former Mayor Guido, his relationship with Congressman John Dingell, and he would reflect on events that had happened. I remember one in specific that goes back to 1964, and he told it like it was yesterday. But in addition to his memory, he was just a decent human being. I could talk to him like I could talk to the guy next door. I will remember him always as just being a friendly guy who got things done. Thank you.
I just wanted to say how I met Mayor O'Reilly. I worked at the Dearborn Area Chamber of Commerce, and I was able to work with him daily on building the city by helping open up businesses with ribbon cuttings. He has been by far the best mayor in my lifetime, including his father. And I just want the family to know that I will miss him dearly. And we had some very good experiences being able to work in the city of Dearborn together. Thank you.
First, I had the pleasure of meeting Mayor O'Reilly in 2016. I had to attend a council meeting for a government class, and I did. I got to meet him, and I got to have a conversation with him after the council meeting. And it was very evident, how much he loved the city, how much he cared about the city, the history that he knew about the city. And then I had the pleasure of working on his last campaign in 2017. And that was actually the first campaign I ever worked on. I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from, the people around him. And you can really tell a lot about a person, based on the people he surrounds himself with, who are all great people. He cared about the city. He truly loved the city. He truly loved, serving the people of Dearborn. I also remember him when I was younger in McDonald School, McDonald Elementary, seeing him at all the City Beautiful parades, at the school parades. He always carried around the sense of community with him, and that's something that we will definitely miss in Dearborn. I express my deepest condolences to his family, and thank you all for sharing him with us, he will always be remembered.
Well, first of all, we want to thank the family for allowing us to come and share their sadness, but we also want to thank Mayor O'Reilly for all that he's done for our community for so many years. In fact, the whole O'Reilly family, but especially Jack, and he did it with such a pleasant disposition. He was always someone friendly to be around.
I knew him from, Mary and I are both members of the Dearborn Garden Club, and the mayor would come every December when we have the Holly Berry Brunch, and we have an assortment, numerous baskets for people to win, and he would call off the numbers for us, so people could win the gifts.
And making a lot of people happy.
And we made a lot of people happy.
Every time he called their name and their number, they would be very happy.
Yeah.
And I also knew him when he was director of the SEMCA, Southeastern Michigan Council of Agency, and that was a Michigan Works organization. So they brought in people to teach them how to do a resume, job training, and also people that came from prisons. They were a chance, because not everybody wants to hire a prisoner. And it was a chance for them to get a second chance in a safe environment too. So while he was city council, he was also director of that Southeastern Michigan agency. And then once he became mayor, then that was too much. Oh, once again, thank you for sharing this moment with us and sharing Jack. And they've been a wonderful family for our community, and especially Jack.
And our sincerest condolences to the whole family.
And I have one particular memory of Mayor O'Reilly. So when we have retirements, every once in a while, if the mayor has time, he would come down and maybe give a little bit of a spiel. And I remember very clearly one time he came down and started to tell us about all the partying he used to do with the particular retiree who was leaving the department. And we all thought what a great thing it was that our mayor was a cool guy that liked to throw a few beers back once in a while and just hang out with us and have a good time. And so with that, I would like to say, on behalf of both the Dearborn Fire and the Dearborn Police Honor Guards, it has been a privilege, and thank you for allowing us to honor your father today.